All right, so you should have it in your packet. Scenario 3 is a bigger building, okay? It's a 9-story building that is located along Milwaukee Avenue, and this specific proposal would require the rerouting of Kedzie Avenue, opening a new green space on the east side of Kedzie Avenue. In this proposal, there's 116,000 square feet of residential space, which equals 110 units of housing. And in this proposal, the housing is 50% affordable, 50% market rate. In addition, this proposal has 50 structured parking spaces. That means parking spaces that are in a parking deck. 13,000 square feet for a nonprofit use, and 5,000 square feet for retail, which the group suggested should be restaurants and shops surrounding the entrance to the Blue Line station. So the project's total costs were $36.3 million, and it has a gap of about $9 million to cover the total costs. Now, the developers at our previous meeting said that reducing the percentage of affordable units on this project from 50% to 25% would make this project feasible without subsidies. They also said that if the project was subsidized with the 9% affordable housing competitive tax credit, it would also eliminate the gap. Finally, they said that if they changed the deck parking to a surface parking, it would significantly reduce the amount of subsidy that's needed. So let's have another question. So this is question number, do you have a question?
I have a question on scenario 3.
Sure.
As opposed to scenario 1 and 2, we have a train station, but scenario 3 we don't have a train station entry anymore. So I don't know how you get into the train station. I mean, I'm being kind of silly here, but realistically it's not eliminated. What's happening?
So that's a good point.
That's really important.
So the question is, on the illustration that's shown, there's no entrance to the station shown. The reason we did not put it there is that we drew it based on what the table presented. Now, where the station entrance could be determined. I would assume, to answer your question realistically, that the existing location of the escalator would probably stay where it is, which, on the green space that's shown there, would probably be somewhere in the middle of the green space. Is that a reasonable answer?
Right. It should be delineated on the green space.
It says CTA, right? Is that what it says?
So I just want to clarify very quickly that for those who are confused about the scenarios, we're going over scenarios that were designed by people in the last meeting, and they are hypothetical scenarios designed to get you to think about ideas, okay? So it doesn't really matter if it's a final vision, because these projects are not going to be constructed tomorrow.
At our table, I think we took the approach that rerouting of Kedzie was a possibility in the CPA description. That it could be, if anything we do, that Kedzie would change, and that the stuff that we had on one side of Kedzie would be on the other side of Kedzie. And then also in the more built-up proposals, which this is the possibility, what's the possibility in our mind, that the entrance, I think, would be through the building.
Okay, so it sounds like to get clarification that the table envisioned the entrance to the station in the base of the building.
Why is the funding gap not showing percent of the total project? So I think when you look at this, it's at the lowest percentage of the highest amount.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Why is the gap in funding shown in percentage of the total of the project? Because it changes very drastically between projects.
So you're saying you would like to know the percentage of the gap compared to the project costs? You know, it looks like it's about 30% of the project cost. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
It's 25% on this one and about 40%
Okay, well, that's great information. So,
seeing that 2% makes more sense than actually costs.
okay, so his point is that in the first project, I believe, the project gap represents about 40% of the cost of the building, versus in this project, sorry, in the second project, versus in this project where it represents about 25% of the costs. So he's right that that's an interesting comparison, and it says a lot about how much you can finance, because the lower the percentage of cost that is not covered by revenues, the more likely your project is likely to be financed. That's a very good point. So we only have time for one more question from the audience.
How many years of construction is this going to require? And how much less? And who damage during that construction is going to happen?
Okay, so the question was, how long would such a project take to be constructed, and how much mess would it cause on the surrounding neighborhood? And noise and other environmental nuisances. So I think I will have the developers answer that when we get to the developer session.
Well, I just want to say that I lived here when they extended the blue line.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll have a discussion of that.
Real consideration. I mean,
Ma'am, there are 190 people here in this room. We all need to listen to each other, and you're taking too much time. I apologize. Okay, so let's get on to question number 4. Are you open to a 9-story building on this site? Okay, so we're talking about the third scenario, and the question is, are you open to a 9-story building on this site? A, yes. B, no. C, unsure. Did everyone get the question? Yes. Are you open to a 9-story building on this site? A, yes. B, no. C, unsure.
So how are you going to break it down the units here? 50% affordable, 55 market, and then you want the next story.
So in this question, we're just asking about whether you're okay with the 9-story building. Okay?
any affordability?
So ignore the affordability question for a second. Let's just talk about the 9-story height. So, for those who said yes, raise your hand. Open to a 9-story building. Okay. For those who said no, you do not want a 9-story building, raise your hand. Okay, so it looks like a majority does not want a 9-story building. All right, so the 5th question. Now this is a question about affordability. So the project proposal that was provided by the people who came up with this scenario was 50% affordable housing and 50% market rate housing. But some of the feedback we got from the developers was that this project was more financially feasible if you reduce the affordability level to just 25%. So this question is about that. This is question number 5. Would you be open to reducing the share of affordable housing units from 55 units and 50% to 28 units and 25%? A, yes. B, no. C, unsure. So I'll ask the question again. Would you be open to reducing the number of affordable housing units from 55 units to 28 units? A, yes. B, no. C, unsure. All right, so those who said A, yes, raise your hands. Okay. And those who said no, you were not okay with reducing the affordable housing. Okay, so it looks like the majority is not okay with reducing the affordable housing. And now I'm going to move it on to Brianne for project number 4.